Hello, so this question is determine the winner of a bowling game. So you're giving the player 1 and player 2. So here's a trick. So you have consider n turn, so which means player 1 and player 2 have the same size. And for each turn is exactly, the max score is exactly going to be 10. And then if a player is hit the 10 pins in previous turn, it has to be I minus 1 or I minus 2, then you will double the price, double the score. So it has to be I minus 1 or I minus 2. So this is a trick. So again, at index 0, there's no previous turn, right? So you just add it yourself. And then the next one is going to be I equal to 1. So I equal to 1 is going to be 10 and 5. However, we only double when you have the previous turn. So the current turn does not matter. So 5 and 10, 10 and 5 are still going to add normally. And for this one, 3 and 2, we already know the previous turn is going to be, this previous turn is a 10, right? So you're going to do the 2 times for each one. So 2 times 3 and 2 times 2. And then you end up 25. And then in this case, there's no 10 in here, right? So you just add normally and then you calculate the difference. If they are the same, it's a draw. If they are, score 1, player 1 is greater than player 2, you return 1. Otherwise, you returns 2. So maybe I can go through here again. So 3 and 8, right? Add normally. 5 and 10 still added normally because you only do for previous turn when you multiply by 2. So at this index, I already know my previous one is 10. So I do 2 times 10. And in this one, there's no 10 beforehand. So I do 7 and 6 normally. And then at this turn, I already know that the previous 2 turn is 10. So I just add it. I just multiply by 2 normally and then calculate it, the sum, and this will be the solution. And then this will be a same idea. So let me go through the solution really quick. So I will have the sums player 1, and then by default, I'm going to just using the index 0. And sums 2 is going to be player 2. By default, it's going to be 0. And then if the sum 1 is equal to sums 2, it is going to be return 0. And otherwise, sums 1 is greater than sums 2. I want to return 1, else return 2. And then I will have to traverse. So I will have to traverse from the index 1 all the way to the last. So this is going to be the same size of the player, right? So I will have the score 1 is equal to player 1 at index I. Score 2 is equal to player 2 at index I. And then I will have to, have the helper function to return a boolean is the current player. Player hits 10. And then if this is true, then I'm just, multiply the score times 2. And I'm going to do the same thing for another player. So this is score 1, this is score 2, right? So in this case, I'm going to pass in player 1 and with the index I, right? So in this case, I'm going to pass in the player 2 with index I. And then I will just add in the sums 1 plus equals score 1, sums 2, add in the score 2. So we just have to know we just have to find out what is the boolean for is player hit 10. And then it's going to be int array boolean, int array, and then int index, and just say I. So I already know I start with the index I equal to 1, and I don't care about index 0, right? So if I is equal to 1, so if I is equal to 1, I want to know the previous index, which is going to be index 0, right? Is the index 0 is 10. And the other side index is more than 1, right? More than 1 is, it could be I minus 1 and I minus 2. This is a valid range. So I'm going to say player at I minus 1 is 10, or player at I minus 2 is 10. So if this is true, then I'll just multiply by 2. So this, yeah, that's solution. All right, space is going to be constant. Time, this is all of it. Pretty straightforward. All right, see you.